Welcome to the 2017 Florida AFL-CIO Legislative Update Series, where we take you through the halls of the Capitol and into the fight for the future of our state. Another year of session, but the same bad bills working families have defeated year after year just keep coming back. Legislators didn't waste any time dusting off bad policy for working families this year, with 3 major bills voted on in committees the day before session officially started. On Monday, the Senate Community Affairs Committee discussed taking away power from our local communities to pass worker-friendly ordinances, restricting access to public records, and destabilizing the retirement security of our public servants. A wish list bill for big contractors, SB 534 by Senator Perry, would strip away your city's right to pass living wage, prevailing wage, and other ordinances that protect workers from a wage race to the bottom.
Big contractors and associations haven't had a lot of luck going from county to county, fighting these local ordinances. So they view the legislature as a one-stop shop where they can come here and use this process that they know, use their lobbying might, talk to folks who may not have any of these policies in their own communities, and ask them to stop local communities from doing this. When you look at it that way, it's just fundamentally wrong.
I'm just telling you, in the real world, this costs the employees money, and it costs the smallest of businesses an opportunity to go out and start a business and compete with the biggest companies there are.
Senator Perry's reality doesn't seem to take into account the over 40% of working families in Florida that are considered struggling economically, and the dozens of cities and counties trying to address these problems with local economic solutions. Like something out of the Twilight Zone, the better arguments fell on deaf ears as SB 534 was voted favorably out of committee. Also in the Senate Community Affairs was SB 80 by Senator Stubbe, a bill that would essentially shut down our fellow Floridians' constitutional right to access public records by stripping away provisions for legal fees when public records are unlawfully denied.
We're very concerned about preserving the ability to enforce what is a constitutional right. Right now, that mandatory fee provision is really the only leverage a citizen has, because there is no enforcement mechanism in the public records law. And this is a right in Florida. It's not a privilege. It is a constitutional right, and we want to do what we can to protect the citizens.
With just minutes left in committee, SB 428 by Senator Brandis was quickly taken up. This bill is the annual attack on the Florida retirement system, with legislators continuing their attempts to push workers into Wall Street 401k type retirement plans and out of the stable state pension system. Putting the retirement security of nearly 1 million workers and retirees at risk, senators quickly rejected friendly amendments to this bill and rammed through a vote to pass it out of the committee. All 3 of these bad bills passed committee, and we're just getting started. The official opening day of session started on Tuesday, with Governor Scott's annual State of the State address filled with the typical platitudes.
If there's one thing you remember from this speech today, I hope it is this. Florida is a state full of fighters, and I personally will never stop fighting for our families.
With the House and Senate completely at odds with the governor's proposed budget and projects, it looks like the governor will be having to worry a lot more about fighting to keep the Republican-led House in order. Following the governor's speech, working family organizations held their own State of the State.
In 2014, he said, "Let's keep working." Just a few moments ago, he talked about Floridians being fighters. The problem is, Florida is not working for most of our families, and nobody in this building is fighting for them.
We got a lot of fights this year. It's not just around immigration. It's not just around preemption. It's not just around worker rights. This is day one, y'all. We got a lot of work to do.
How about some good news? SB 73 by Senator Young is a bipartisan-led effort to ban fracking in the state. The bill passed its first committee on Tuesday, marking a huge win for our state's environment and all families in Florida. Companion pieces to the Public Records Bill and the local preemption were also heard and passed in the House Oversight, Transparency, and Administration Committee. That committee, however, also heard one of the biggest all-out attacks on workplace unions Florida has seen in several years. HB 11 by Representative PLAKON is model legislation by the Koch brothers, ALEC, and other shady corporate interests that has one effect: the elimination of Florida's public sector unions, except for police and firefighters. The bill would close all public sector unions who don't have more than 50% of the total bargaining unit paying dues.
Our law already provides affected parties, those public employees, a procedure to decertify their union. We have that now. It's in the law.
It's basically saying to our teachers and their voluntary organizations, the real education experts, that, hey, you know what, we don't agree with you on education policy. We haven't been able to force you to go along. So you know what, we're going to make it impossible for you to exist. The government silencing those they don't agree with, that's by its very nature is un-American.
HB 11 passed on a party line vote, but its future in the Senate is uncertain. The Florida AFL-CIO and allies are working behind the scenes to stop this attack, but may need your help soon. So please keep an eye out for legislative alerts in the weeks ahead. After an action-packed first week of session, union members and activists from across the state shared their experiences.
Just because the legislator comes to your picnic doesn't mean they're voting your way. And I can tell you that is 100% true. You need to get in their face or on the phone to them. Please come on up.
Once they get in office, they start forgetting about the common people. We need to come up and let them know that you don't vote on party lines. You vote on what's right. We can change things, but we need people coming up here so we can stay out of the twilight zone.
We're just getting started in Tallahassee. Stay tuned next week for another legislative update. Solidarity.